Your place doesn't need a full remodel to feel like a chill boho retreat, it just needs the right plants. Succulents are basically the cheat code here because they bring texture, color, and that laid-back desert vibe without demanding your whole weekend. Think soft pastels, dusty greens, and shapes that look like living sculptures sitting on woven shelves or macrame hangers. The crazy part is most of these plants are tougher than they look and actually love a little neglect. I've had some of these survive missed waterings, dry air, and even bad lighting days. In this video I'm breaking down the exact succulents that make any room feel warm, earthy, and effortlessly styled. Whether you're in a tiny apartment or a big open loft, these plants just work. Stick around because a few of these picks are total sleepers that designers quietly swear by. Queen Victoria Agave is basically living art for a boho space because those thick dark green leaves with white stitched lines look hand-carved and totally unique. This plant stays compact for years, usually under 12 inches wide, so it fits perfectly on floating shelves, rattan tables, or woven plant stands without overpowering the room. It comes from dry rocky regions of Mexico, so it is built for bright light and very little water, meaning once every 2 to 3 weeks is more than enough, which is perfect if you forget sometimes. It prefers fast-draining cactus soil and hates soggy roots, so a terracotta pot works great for that earthy boho vibe while keeping it healthy. What makes it even cooler is that it grows super slowly, so the shape you fall in love with today will still look almost the same next year, making it a long-term design piece, not just a trend plant. In the wild, some of these can live decades before flowering, so you are basically bringing a tiny piece of desert history into your home and letting it quietly level up your whole boho aesthetic. Bushman's Hat is one of those succulents that instantly makes a boho room feel collected and worldly instead of staged because its long paddle-shaped leaves stack upward like a living sculpture. It loves bright and direct light or a few hours of gentle sun, which keeps the edges slightly blushed and adds that soft desert tone boho interiors are all about. Watering is simple since the thick leaves store moisture, so every 2 to 3 weeks is usually perfect, especially if your home stays warm. A gritty cactus soil is a must because this plant is native to dry regions and hates sitting in wet mix, which can rot the roots fast. Indoors it can easily grow 1 to 2 feet tall, making it a great floor-level accent next to woven baskets or low-wood furniture. The coolest part is that it often changes color slightly with the seasons, so you will notice subtle shifts from silvery green to warmer tones, which keeps your space feeling fresh without you buying anything new. Painted Lady is pure boho drama in plant form because its soft mint green leaves are splashed with creamy white and blush pink, making it feel like a watercolor painting sitting on your shelf. It thrives in bright filtered light, which keeps the colors vibrant without burning the delicate surface, so a spot near a sunny window with a sheer curtain is perfect. Water it about every 10 to 14 days, letting the soil dry fully in between since those fleshy leaves store moisture like a tiny reservoir. A loose cactus mix with added perlite keeps the roots happy and prevents the soggy soil that this plant really hates. It usually stays under 10 inches tall, so it works great on hanging shelves or grouped with neutral pottery for that layered boho look. What makes it extra special is that no two plants are ever patterned the same, so you are basically getting a one-of-a-kind piece that no store can ever perfectly replicate. Monkey's tail is one of those succulents that instantly softens a boho room because the long fuzzy trailing stems spill over shelves and baskets like natural macrame. It loves bright light with a little morning sun, which helps it grow thicker and more silver while still staying gentle enough for indoor spaces. Watering is super easy since the stems hold moisture, so once every 2 to 3 weeks is plenty as long as the soil dries out completely. A fast-draining cactus mix is key because this plant comes from dry mountain regions and hates heavy wet soil. Indoors those trailing arms can reach 2 to 3 feet in a year, making it perfect for hanging planters or high shelves where it can cascade freely. The wild part is that the soft hair actually protects it from harsh sun and cold in nature, so you are literally bringing a survival masterpiece into your cozy boho setup. Desert Rose is that bold boho statement plant that looks like a tiny sculpted tree growing out of a pottery bowl, and it instantly draws the eye in any relaxed interior. The thick swollen base stores water, so it only needs a drink about every 10 to 14 days and even less in winter, which is great if you are not into high-maintenance plants. It loves bright light and a few hours of direct sun to keep the leaves tight and the growth strong. A sandy cactus soil is a must because soggy mix will rot that beautiful trunk fast, and nobody wants that. With good care it can grow 12 to 24 inches tall indoors, and when it is happy it throws out clusters of pink or red flowers that feel almost unreal next to the earthy boho textures. What makes it extra cool is that the swollen base is called a caudex and it literally grows thicker over time, so the plant gets more character with every year you keep it. Karoo Rose is one of those boho succulents that makes people stop and stare because the chunky stems twist upward like living driftwood topped with soft green leaves. It thrives in bright light and can handle a few hours of sun, which keeps the growth compact and the colors rich. Water it about every 2 to 3 weeks, letting the soil dry fully since it is built to survive long dry spells in its native South African deserts. A gritty cactus mix is essential because heavy soil can rot the roots fast. Indoors it usually grows 1 to 2 feet tall, which makes it perfect for floor planters or low wooden stands mixed with woven textures. The coolest thing is that over time the woody stems develop more curves and character, so the plant literally ages into a more artistic piece that fits the relaxed and perfect vibe of boho style perfectly. Crassula Buddha's temple is the kind of plant that feels like it belongs in a boho meditation corner because the leaves stack perfectly on top of each other like a tiny stone tower. It loves bright and direct light, which keeps the shape tight and prevents it from stretching, so a sunny shelf works great. Watering is minimal since the thick leaves store moisture, so every 2 to 3 weeks is usually enough once the soil has fully dried. A fast-draining cactus soil is important because this plant is sensitive to soggy roots and prefers dry, airy conditions. Indoors it normally stays under 8 inches tall, making it a perfect accent for small spaces or group with handmade pottery. The wild part is that the stacked growth pattern is so precise that it almost looks fake, even though it is a real living plant growing one neat layer at a time. Bear's paw is one of those feel-good boho plants that instantly adds warmth because the chunky leaves look like tiny green paws reaching for the light. It does best in bright light with a bit of gentle sun, which helps keep the leaf tips slightly red and the growth compact. Water it about every 10 to 14 days, letting the soil dry completely since the fuzzy leaves hold onto moisture. A gritty cactus mix is perfect because heavy soil can cause root issues fast. Indoors it usually grows around 12 inches tall, which makes it great for side tables or open shelving mixed with textured baskets. The fun part is those soft little hairs are not just cute, they actually help protect the plant from intense sunlight in nature, which is a pretty cool survival trick for such a cuddly looking plant. Madagascar Palm is that bold boho plant that instantly adds height and attitude with its thick spiny trunk topped by a burst of glossy green leaves. It loves bright light and even a few hours of direct sun, which keeps the growth strong and the stem sturdy. Watering is light since the trunk stores moisture, so every 2 to 3 weeks is usually enough once the soil is completely dry. A sandy cactus mix is a must because this plant comes from arid regions and hates sitting in wet soil. Indoors it can easily reach 2 to 3 feet tall, making it perfect for filling empty corners next to woven rugs or low wood furniture. What makes it extra cool is that despite the name, it is actually a succulent and not a real palm, which surprises almost everyone who sees it for the first time. Jade Necklace is one of those trailing succulents that instantly brings relaxed boho energy because the bead-like leaves drape over shelves and hanging planters like natural jewelry. It thrives in bright light, which keeps the strands full and prevents them from getting thin and leggy. Watering is easy since the plump leaves store water, so every 2 to 3 weeks is usually perfect once the soil has dried out fully. A fast-draining cactus mix is important because this plant is prone to root rot in heavy soil. Indoors the trails can reach 2 to 3 feet long, which makes it ideal for layering with macrame hangers or floating shelves. The fun part is that when it gets enough sun, the beads can blush slightly purple, which adds a subtle pop of color that feels effortless and totally boho. Echeveria Black Prince is the moody boho accent every neutral room needs because those deep burgundy, almost black rosettes look incredible against light walls and woven textures. It loves bright light and a bit of direct sun, which keeps the color dark and the shape tight instead of stretching out. Watering is simple since the thick leaves hold moisture, so once every 10 to 14 days is usually enough after the soil dries fully. A gritty cactus mix is a must because soggy soil will dull the roots fast and ruin the plant. Indoors it normally stays under 8 inches tall, which makes it perfect for coffee table shelves or group displays. The coolest thing is that the darker the leaves get, the more sun it is getting, so the plant literally shows you when it is happy just by changing its color. String of Buttons is that clean geometric boho plant that feels modern and earthy at the same time because the little stacked leaves climb upward like a living spiral. It does best in bright light with a little gentle sun, which keeps the growth compact and the colors vibrant. Watering is light since the leaves store moisture, so every 2 to 3 weeks is usually enough once the soil has dried out completely. A fast-draining cactus mix is essential because this plant is very sensitive to soggy roots. Indoors it usually grows 8 to 12 inches tall, making it perfect for narrow shelves or grouped with textured pottery. The fun part is that with enough light the leaf edges turn soft pink, which gives it that subtle boho color pop without ever looking overdone. Alright, now that you have seen all 12 of these boho perfect succulents, you can probably picture at least one spot in your home that is about to get a serious upgrade. These plants are proof that you do not need expensive decor to create a warm, relaxed vibe. You just need the right living pieces in the right corners. Try mixing a few shapes together on shelves or hanging them at different heights and watch how fast your space starts to feel calmer and more personal. If this list gave you some ideas, make sure to like the video and share it with someone who loves cozy interiors as much as you do. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next plant drop coming your way.